Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. Hope you're having a good Sunday. We are going to watch our online service in a little bit, but I thought I would just start the day before we get into that on doing a new process video. What I wanted to focus on this morning was, excuse me, Psalm 139. This is the psalm that talks about David is telling God, or recognizing that God has searched him and known him and knows all about his days. In verse 13, it goes on to say, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." And it goes on. It's a good psalm to meditate on and find comfort in. God knows our days. He knows what's going on. He's been there since our birth and will continue to be. And we cannot hide from him. He's always available. He's always present and just a prayer away, really. So why I wanted to do this, I've liked this for a long time, but I wanted to focus on the upcoming birth or arrival of my 5th grandchild and my 2nd grandson. So what I've chosen to start with is this Distress Oxide Fossilized Amber. It's one of those Ranger products by Tim Holtz. I don't know how all the different artist names or whatever come into that, but it's that line of products. They're pretty readily available wherever I've looked. So I'm using the first page here of my illustrated Bible, or Illustrating Bible by Dayspring, and I'm just using this dauber thing. This is another Ranger or Tim Holtz product. I got these when I first started Bible journaling and have used them a lot. So I love this golden yellow, this amber yellow. It's one of my favorite kinds of colors. And I just thought it would look neat to put on a little background color before I put on the name and some other features. What I thought I would do is attach his ultrasound picture. When my son and daughter-in-law were first telling us that they were having a baby, they brought over a box of donuts, and inside the lid was taped one of the ultrasound pictures. And I can't remember, they had a cute little saying or something to do with that, with the donuts. Sorry, got a frog in my throat still. Anyway, somehow they tied the donuts to us having a new grandchild. It was really cute, but I can't remember what they said. But I still have that picture, so I'm going to put that in here. And then the line of scrapbook paper I'm using is the Scrapbook Pad to Go K&Company. It's so cute. Kazoo Kids. All this stuff is kind of vintagey. It's adorable. My friend Joanna gave this to me. But it makes me think 50s era. I don't know if that's accurate. But lots of pretty colors. So they're beautiful colors. They're just a little bit muted. They're not super bright colors. So I'm using my Tombow Mono Liquid Glue Aqua. It's got a million names. I'm not sure what to call it. The Tombow Aqua Glue, I guess, is a quicker way. And what I wanted to do, they have told me that they're going to name him Beckham. And I can't really fit that all in. I was kind of playing around with it yesterday. I liked the look of the name going down kind of staggered, but that didn't leave me room for too much else. So I think I'm going to put it like this. And then these are elements of this craft pad. There's a tag here. It's got the little hole I haven't punched out yet. This main attraction. I think you can, it's got pop-outs too, so you can thread something through there. And then this little cute tag of the little taxi. My plan is to kind of do it something like this down here, and then we'll put in his ultrasound picture. But just looking at that, something like that, I think I need to add some more yellow. I don't have any other ink colors right now that I feel really work with this color scheme. The pages of this Bible are white versus the more creamy color that you would see on the full journaling Bibles, and I love the cream, but I'm liking that this is a little brighter. And even with it being white, it's not a stark white. So it's fun to see how the colors react or blend on the different backgrounds. So the one Bible's creamier, and then this is a little bit of a brighter, maybe an off-white. I don't know. Maybe you would call it just plain old white. Okay, so I think that's a good amount of color. So let's go ahead and glue on his name. This kind of glue has this narrow end and a wide end. I really enjoy working with this. I like this little tip. So even though the other end would probably go on quicker, I feel like I have a little more control of where the glue goes with the finer end. Wouldn't it be funny if they changed the name and decided not to use Beckham? Then we would be in trouble. But that could be comical too. So obviously it won't fit all the way across, so I'm staggering it. I might do a hyphen later, and then I might just leave it like this. So I am the kind of crafter who does not do things extremely neatly. Sometimes I've lived to regret that. Mostly I'm happy because I feel like I can get things done, and if I don't worry about it being perfect, but just have fun in the process, focusing on the scripture and just getting it in the book, creating a memory rather than trying to create a perfect memory. Okay, I almost made a mistake here. What I'm wanting to do is attach this to this, and then I'm going to glue just down this side and across so I can tuck in the ultrasound picture. So I'm just placing it here to kind of get an idea. I want to bring it down just a little. This is probably okay. So just eyeballing it, and then again I will glue down here and here on the opposite side. So just do a little swirl, a little swipe here and up the side. I think this glue dries fairly quickly too, which is another thing. Now I just want to pop out that little tag hole. I should have done that before I laid it down. I forgot, because I think that adds a little fun something, and I might decide to tie on a little embroidery floss in one of these colors, or maybe some cording. And so let me show you what I'm thinking. So we're wanting to tuck this in here. This black and white doesn't really go with all this, but that's what I wanted to do, is just to have that picture in a special spot. So what I want to do with this now is make sure it's not blocking the ability for this picture to slide in there. So I think I could even come over a little, and as long as I don't put glue on this part, I could slide in and out. And I kind of like it a little bit offset. In fact, I like that angled, I think, better. So, not wanting to get the glue too far over, I'll just do it about halfway. Hopefully I'm keeping this in frame. I tend to get distracted and not check up every once in a while. Okay, let me slide this up. There. Main attraction. So this is a circus theme. Some of this is a cowboy, like I mentioned in this pad of paper. There's vintage children's train things and fire trucks. It's a super cute pad. Kind of like that there, but that may be getting too busy. I do want to attach this little tag. This reminds me of the little golden books. That little thing in the back of the golden books. The back cover, they have little drawings from their books. I know it's changed over time. When I was growing up, though, you would see that little taxi cab on the back of the golden book cover. Okay, I think that looks cute. Now, one thing I will probably go back and do is add some spots, some stamping to give a little more, excuse me, gosh, my throat today, texture to it. And so you see that will go in there. And I may put it in a little envelope just to help protect it maybe. And also this stark black and white against the color isn't quite the best blend, but like I said, it is to commemorate or honor the upcoming birth. A few months away yet. But it, you know, in these unsure times, I think it's nice to focus on some positives in our life. And there are many, even with the hardships. And so I wanted to focus on the fact that I have a new grandson coming. Okay, I'm going to add this here because I love that golden yellow. That'll still give me the ability to tuck that in. I'm not covering that whole open side. This is all open still. I'm using this. I ordered this online from a fall kit this past year. And I kind of like this rust gingham. I feel like it goes with this pretty well. And it kind of fits in with the muted colors. I don't really want to call it vintage, but it's... Ooh, I like that there. But I don't like that rough edge. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to try to grab this here and just make a cleaner edge there. Sometimes I like the rough and sometimes I like it a little more tidy looking. I've gotten to where I like the cleaner look on most of my journaling. Okay, so we have that and that. I'm wondering if I need something across here, if this polka dotted one would work. This is bringing in a lot of gray or a taupey color, and I'm not sure I'm going to like how that looks, but let's try a sample piece. I can layer that over here, something like that, or right here. It's kind of, ooh, I do like that. I'm going to do that because this polka dotted theme picks up on the polka dots on the back of some of these letters. Again, these are from this kit. They were just punch outs. Okay, I'm liking that. I love the effect of a variety of textures on a page. It's really fun for me to collage like that. Now I could put this up here. This is a Bible I'm using. Well, it's just Psalms and Proverbs. I'll show you the cover if you're not familiar. This is the Illustrating Bible, Psalms and Proverbs, and it's by Dayspring. I got mine online, Amazon, of course, New International Version. And so this is very easy to read. I love the big, bold, clear print. I love the color of the page back, or the main color, this off-white, or it just really is kind of white, but it's, like I said, it's not too blinding. So, what am I trying to say? This Bible, gosh, if I can only get that frog on my throat. This Bible is for the purpose of doing this kind of thing. So if I clip this up there, or I washi tape that up there, or staple it, it's not going to make me not be able to read the pages. I can just bend that up, or I can, washi or glue it. I can lift it up if I want to. But this is not the Bible I would sit down and read. This is like a palette, you could say, of expression of all the passages I choose to journal. So that's why I'm not too worried about covering up something. I would not prefer to just cover it all up. I still like to see it, and I want to read the passage that's being focused on. But a few things like this don't bother me because it's still accessible. And here I'm focusing on Psalm 139, which starts here and goes over here. So the passages really that are focusing on this upcoming birth start at the bottom of this page and go over here. I will go back and highlight those or underline them with my black Sharpie. I will show you what I like to use there. It's this style of Sharpie. It's just called a Sharpie pen. It's got a very fine tip. I like how it writes. It's a bold line. I don't see where it says like the width or anything, but I think it's like a 0.8. Anyway, and also we can outline some of these features, but let's just decide next where we want to put this. So I could put it there, but I feel like with the ultrasound picture that would be covered. So I'm kind of liking it here. So it kind of balances there. So we have some big focal points here, kind of that triangle that I hear is good in the artist or the visual graphics, you know, where you want to keep the eye moving. You don't want to have too much going. You need to have focal points, but you also want to draw the eye around the page. And in my way of thinking, whoops, that slid. It does dry quickly, but not that quickly. So fortunately, I can move that. So, yeah, I'm liking that. Just have to decide if I want to tuck this into an envelope. There are some envelope things in this kit. Our little, I think they have little foldable envelopes. I'll have to double check and decide if I want to put this in here. I could actually trim the ultrasound picture down a little more and put it in there. It's already really fading, but it's still pretty sweet. You know, there he is being formed in secret. Well, now we get a glimpse into the womb, but you know, that was all the mystery in the ancient world. And the point is that God is the one who gives us life. And so I'm just choosing to celebrate that. So right now, before I pause this, let's go ahead and underline these main verses. You created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame is not hidden from you. When I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. Whoops, sorry, I'm hanging over there. All your days, all my days, all the days, there we go, ordained for me were written in your book. Before one of them came to be, how precious to me are your thoughts, O God, how vast is the sum of them. I'll stop with that. It goes on. It's really a beautiful passage, and it's just a good reminder to us. Yes, we celebrate the birth of a baby or the adoption of a baby, but that baby was formed and created, whether it was from the adoptive parents or not. I was adopted, so I can say that. But just reveling here, marveling in the wonder of birth and of a baby being formed in the womb. So I will pause this and we will come back soon. I have to tune into my online church service. We'll be back and we'll add the little decorative highlights that really make these pieces pop. See you in a minute. Bye. Okay, so I'm back. Off camera, I made this little card. I just took a piece of scrapbook paper from my kit, or the packet I showed you earlier. It looks like a bandana. And I put some other elements, some of the punch outs from the kit, Smile, Dreams Come True, Rough and Tough. And I attached his picture here and put these little corner pieces on that make it look like it's holding the photo. It's not really. I just glued it all down, but I liked that little extra added detail. This piece now I can insert here, and I like that better because this is part of that scrapbook packet, and all the colors now work well together versus having the starkness of the black and white ultrasound on the page. And then it's kind of like symbolic too of the being made in secret. You know, it's kind of a a hidden away thing that we get to celebrate now, but also to a greater degree later. So I'm going to tuck that in there when I'm all done. Something I always like to do is to add my date stamp. Lately I've been liking using this really big one. I'll go back to that in a minute though. Let's add the little embellishments. I have a few different kinds of pens I like to use for this. Like I showed you, the Sharpie or just some kind of black marker. I picked out my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. It's got a B on there for the brush tip. This is a sky blue. I like to use the Jelly Roll pens. This one is a, well, you can't really see, but it's a kind of transparent, but it adds sparkle and glittery effect. I love using that on all kinds of things. And then these Pentel sparkle pens. This is the bold, and I don't know if they give colors. I don't see a specific color. These are one of my favorite metallic-y, sparkly pens that I've tried. I feel like it goes on in a bold dot, and it usually flows real easily. So what I like to do is just go into the corners and add dots here and there. Now, one thing, if you choose to use this or do this technique and you have a more like a flowy ink, let it have a couple of minutes to dry, because I have oftentimes smeared it because I get in too big of a hurry, and then it just makes it look a little sloppier. So that is the Pentel Sparkle. I'll put that back in my card over here. Now I want to take the sky blue and add a couple dots around where I put the sparkly dots, or the more shimmery ink. I'm not really liking this as well. It's not adding a whole lot. I'll just go ahead though and finish that. There's just something about the dots that I am drawn to. I was trying to decide if I wanted to maybe use a green. Let me grab that. This is also a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. This is May Green. Again, the brush tip. This is like my favorite green that I have tried from them. But since I use it so often, it is nearly dry. This is showing up nicely on the white, not so much on the yellowed edges. But I'll just put a few of those there. I'm getting kind of carried away with dots. But I like that in a way for this page, because a lot of these elements, these little punch outs, have dots, and I chose some washi tape with dots. And then here I'm going to take this Sparkle Jelly Roll pen. I'm checking again to see if there's actually a color on it, and I don't think there is. But when I bought it, I liked because it had well, it's clear, so it adds a fun little shimmer, but you don't necessarily pick up on it readily. It just adds sparkle to the page. So I'm just kind of going all over with that because I want to add this effect that makes it seem kind of celebratory. So I'm adding the shimmer to spruce it up and just add excitement to having his name there. I think I showed you this. I went ahead and got that ready. I did show you. Also, what I did off camera was, I think I didn't show earlier, I added this washi and a little strip up there. It's the same polka dot, but I tore it to make a narrower piece, and I kind of like that too because it sort of frames in the page. Okay, the last feature, other than date stamping it, will be to take my black Sharpie, and I want to outline some of these things so they pop a little bit more. So I'll go around the letter card here, the washi, these. I will probably go around these, or I might use my white Posca paint pen on this blue. I will do a few, maybe I'll kind of do this off camera because I don't know, I don't want to bog it down. Yeah, I'm just going to highlight, and I will be back and I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so I took my black Sharpie and I outlined all these added elements to the page, and I feel like that makes it pop. Sometimes it gets a little sloppy. The pen slips and it makes a line that's not there, or I run onto the tape. But overall, I don't mind that. I feel like that's kind of like a little scrapbooky look, and that's good. I'm seeing a lot of big blank space here that needs a little texture, so I'm just adding a few black dots there. Fan of the dots. And then here I just added a little running dot kind of thing that looks like a sewing machine stitch, sort of, on that glued on piece. I just outlined this one and this one, and again it kind of slipped a little bit, but it's okay. Kind of gives it a just a look that I don't mind. I like that kind of random scrapbooky, not meticulously tidy look. When I put this under here, the outline to that is lost, so I'm just gonna think about that. I'm just gonna go back in here and add a little bit of black outline to my little card piece here, and I'll just bring that in a little so it's more or less even all the way around. Okay, so now I can put this in here, and there is that. Now the last thing, like I showed you, is to do the stamp pad. I'm going to grab my ink over here. Trying to decide if I want to choose one of these colors or my distress ink and just black soot. I feel like that might be good because it'll make this stuff that's outlined in black pop a little bit. But now I need to decide where. And since it's not essential to see the date off the bat, I think I'm going to put it in this blank spot that is going to generally be covered by that. These are some of the other colors I have. I like these little sample sizes. I think that this fired brick could look neat. That's sort of a, well, like it sounds, looks like this. It's just sort of a deeper red. I don't want to go too bright because these colors have a muted effect to them, or an aged look. There's this mowed lawn, which is kind of turns out dark. I don't know. And then I have the shabby shutters. I'm afraid that might be a little bit too light. That one seems to be drying out too, but I kind of think I might want to try that. I'll try the green, the shabby shutters, and then I can always go over it with black if I decide it doesn't show up enough. So I'm adjusting the date, April 5th, 2020. And in this case, I just take these little ones and I just press it on to there. I'm kind of looking at this and I'm thinking that's not going to show up. This, like I said, this particular ink pad is almost dry, but let's give it a whirl. It won't hurt to do it over. Yeah, it's really faint. It's kind of a neat effect, actually. I don't even know if that shows. It goes across here, but I think that's just a little less color than I want. Maybe, actually, let's try the, this one is called Tea Dye, and I also have a vintage photo one that might work, but let's try the tea. Since these are so faint, this one is, to press this on here and try that again, I don't think we'll add any mess to the page really, because none of them are showing up. There, okay, that worked out good. I'm happy with that. It's a, oh, it's brown, but it's a lighter. I mean, it really does make me think kind of of tea, so that's a good color for it. A light brown with maybe some golden undertones. I'm very happy with that. So like I said, it won't always show. Some of that will be covered up, but I think that works okay. The last thing, I almost forgot, last two things, is this little tab, which is also in the scrapbook pad. It says Celebrate. It's got a little tiny print with kids doing all kinds of things. It might be, well actually, as I look closer, it looks like it's part of the circus element to some of these pages. I like the detail on all these, and the colors really resonate with me. I like these shades. They're rich, but they're not super bright, and I like that a lot. I'm going to just stick this here. I put glue all over, and I want to attach that tab. Probably want to slide that up just a little. I think it's crooked. Want mostly that word to stick up, but I need just a little bit of those two edges to be on this page, or I'm afraid that that's not going to hold well. I have these clips that I picked up at the dollar store. They're super handy. If you see those, they work really well for craft. So when you want something to dry, you can also use paper clips. Probably have those on hand if you don't have these. And I like to just do that for a minute just so that it adheres. I'll close that up and put it out of the way. The very last thing I wanted to do was to pick out a bookmark. I got this from By the Well for God, I think, journaling kit. I think it was from them, pretty sure. It's teal and it's got polka dots, if you are not able to see that on the screen. And I also have this little homemade wool ball, felt ball, I guess maybe it's called, paper clip. I like the polka dots because there's that element throughout here. The blue here, if it is even a blue, I can't tell, it's super dark. But then there's lighter blues here, blue here. So even though I have the tab, since this is like an extra special thing for a little boy, I wanted to add another element. All right, let's take these off a second. I think that might be okay. So you can see how that will pop up when the book is closed. My journaling Bible here. Really like the polka dot theme, but both of these things have an element of that. Now sometimes I like to attach these clips to something thicker. So this is adding some thickness to the page now, and I kind of think that it helps the bookmark, or the paper clip I mean, to stay, because otherwise these really come off easily. They're really a fun effect, but I don't think they stay on super well. If I decide on this, I'll put a little bit of washi to help hold that in. But as I'm looking, I don't think that blue is quite right. I think this is a little more, too much teal for this page. This one is a little bit closer, a tad bit darker, but I think the right tones. So I'm going to do that. I kind of like that anyway, since I have that. So there you go, a page honoring the upcoming birth of my second grandson, my fifth grandchild. He is already so loved, and we're so looking forward to meeting him, thanking the Lord for this blessing and this cause to celebrate. Even in these perplexing times, we have things we can look to and find in our lives that bring us joy. So I wanted to focus on that happy element today. Hope you're all doing well, and we'll see you next time. Bye.